only been a few short weeks since I had the all-new Kia Sportage on the channel. The difference is this is the mild hybrid, the HEV version of the petrol one. If you want a standard 1.6 petrol, it's going to cost you about €38,000. This is a K3 spec, which we'll have a look around and see, is K3 enough? Do you need to go K4? And if you want to get the mild hybrid version with 230 brake horsepower combined, then it's going to cost you about €42,000. So not a cheap car. Things like the Qashqai, even though the Qashqai has jumped in price as well, it's still quite a bit of a saving depending on spec that you want to go for. Really the only difference on this mild hybrid version of the car, so you don't plug it in or anything, is the HEV badge in the back. Everything else about the outside of the Sportage mild hybrid looks the same. So you have some extra batteries on the car to make it that mild hybrid, but the boot is still excellent. There is a space down here for your spare wheel, which is becoming rarer and rarer these days, and you can drop the seats with handles on the back here again, just like the diesel version of the car, and it all does make life easier when you're just juggling things and things to go in the boot and you have a kid screaming at you. They've really thought of families and what makes life easier as a parent if you're owning one of these. One of the big changes is up front. Because this is an automatic, you get the jog wheel style gear shifter that is very, very like the EV6, and it just looks more updated than the manual version of the Sportage. You might remember, if you've seen the full review, and it's up there if you haven't yet, I just marked how the gear shifter, the button surrounding it, it felt quite like the previous model Sportage, whereas if you get into this one, it's very obvious how things are different. I love the way the screen wraps around into the driver's display. The visuals on this are also different to the previous version. I'm not sure which one I like. The shared one on the diesel was quite like the Tucson, and this one is just a bit more digital feeling in parts. One thing the Kia have promised is that if you plug a device with a cable into the charger, it's really, really fast. And it is. I got somewhere in 15% on an iPhone in about 5 minutes. I'm not sure how good that is for the battery on your phone, but they have delivered. This one has different cup holders as well. You press a button and these little pop-outs come around to hold your drink into place, and they are a little bit adjustable as well. The screen is still excellent. It's wide, it's colourful, the graphics are brilliant, and it's an easy system to use. Same as the climate control. You can juggle between it accessing your media and your climate at the touch of a button. I personally like that. Some people just like controls always there, but I think by and large it works very well. And this K3 spec doesn't get blind spot, but it does get heated steering wheel and heated seats. So I think overall K3 is a good place to be. Obviously everyone likes the extras, and the longer the list you can have, the better. But that does cost plenty of money, and at 43 grand for a K3 with a mild hybrid engine, I think that's probably going to be where you need to stop for a lot of people. So it is generously well spec'd. The big question is though, should you get the mild hybrid over the standard petrol, particularly when it's not a plug-in hybrid? What fuel economy will this do, and does it affect the handling and the driving characteristics of the car at all? So let's go for a spin and check it out. 1.6 petrol, same vibe as the engine size, but this one has the mild hybrid. The battery you can see charging, and I've never seen it go to a full 4 bars or 100%. It lives between 50 and 75. Now that could be down to the style of driving I'm doing, which is generally around the city centre, a little bit of motorway, the M50 in Dublin. The fuel economy is a claimed 5 litres per 100 kilometres from Kia. However, my real life finding, and again it's my driving situation and the places I've been driving to, is more like 7 litres per 100 kilometres. I suppose the more slower driving in city centre stop starts, that's probably most where that little bit of battery is going to help, because when you're pulling away and maybe you don't need too much power and you're cruising in between heavy traffic, that's probably where you'll actually benefit most, whereas the opposite is generally the case. The longer journeys at a steady speed is where you'll get best fuel economy. And I suppose that's the whole point of maybe opting for that mild hybrid action and the benefit of having an automatic gearbox and a few other bonuses. You know, it's a more comfortable car to drive because it's more relaxing. There's something less for you to do. Going around corners, is it massively different? Do you feel the weight? It's not a car that is set up for huge amounts of handling and least amounts of body roll, so I can't say there's any negative difference in the fact that this car is a bit more weight in it due to batteries. There's a man who doesn't know how to use a roundabout because he indicated right and then indicated left, and I stopped because of it. But anyway, the gear changes are very rapid, and I suppose from your point of view, if you're watching this going, why should I get the mild hybrid over the petrol? Yeah, main things: automatic, more relaxing to drive, potentially better fuel economy when you're crawling in traffic. It's not the size of battery that's going to benefit you driving on a motorway, for example. Anyway, it's not to be confused with a plug-in hybrid, which obviously this car isn't, and that will give you a range of whatever, somewhere between 50 and 90 kilometers is generally at this time of filming, early 2022, where a plug-in hybrid range will get you. I've done quite a few kilometers in the car this week though, hasn't missed a beat. It's been relaxing to drive, very comfortable, can take all the kids you need, all the child seats you need, the boot is good. It's an all-round family type car, and that bit Kia have absolutely nailed to a T in the Sportage. And I suppose the choice for you really after watching this video is, if you're hard to set on a Sportage, do you want petrol or mild hybrid? Because if you want diesel, you're probably not even considering either of them. And K3 and K4, and I genuinely feel K3 is more than enough. And if you want to go bonkers and go for K4, fair enough, but it's going to end up being quite an expensive car if you do. The mild hybrid version of it is easier on fuel, but it's not going to be easier in your pocket to get into the car in the first place. And if this was the plug-in version of the Sportage, which it will happen of course, I think you might be more justified in paying the extra price, because if you get a standard petrol with the K3 spec, you're going to save a few quid and you're still going to get a really good car. I suppose the other thing as well, it's just great that there's options. There's diesel, there's mild hybrid, there's standard petrol, and there will be the plug-in as well. So Kia are giving everybody something to get in the new Sportage. Thank you very much for watching.